Welcome, I'm Sherry Tafoya with Custom Blinds and Design. We have Hunter Douglas Galleries in Omaha and Lincoln. Quinn Small is joining me today, certified Hunter Douglas installer, and we're going to visit today about a wood blind and some of the issues that happen. Sometimes the wood blind gets stuck in the window.
And so today I'm going to show you 3 different ways that we can approach a wood blind when it's stuck in the window. A common call that we'll get from a client is either that their wood blind is either stuck in the up position, stuck somewhere halfway up or somewhere along the window, or one side of the blind is moving and the other won't, causing it to raise or lower at a tilt, something like this. So today I'm going to show you 3 different ways that we can approach that problem, starting from the easiest and then kind of working towards if those options don't work. We're actually going to remove the blind and adjust the locking mechanism up in the headrail. So if your blind is stuck in the up position, the first approach that I would take if I was at your home trying to address this shade would be just simply to put my hand under the shade and release pressure from underneath. So I'm going to try to remove all the weight off of these lifting mechanisms in these cords. And then I'm just going to jiggle it a little bit, and then ideally you'll hear the locking mechanism click down, and then the shade will lower itself. We're going to want to stay over to the side and just let the shade lower the rest of the way. So the second approach to getting the shade to release from the window would be just to give it a really good hard pull. What can happen is that locking mechanism, because of the weight of the shade, sometimes when we're raising the shade and we let it lock and we let it drop like so, a lot of that weight pulls down and it gets that locking mechanism jammed up in the headrail. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of use reverse pressure and just give it some really good tugs and let that release. And then ideally you'll hear it click, which means that locking mechanism has released and the shade will begin to lower. And again, to prevent that from locking in place is when we open the shade, if we can only just give it a little bit of help and then let it gently lock into its resting position. If the shade is lowering on one side and not the other, something like this, so as you're lowering it or even as you lock it, one of the sides may continue to droop down. And typically what that's going to mean is that one of these lift cords has actually gotten lodged up in the headrail of the shade. These shades actually have a child safety mechanism that's designed to break apart if a child were to be wrapped up in the cords. And what can happen, this particular one this blind only has 2 cords, but some will have up to 4 cords. The other 2 cords would hang free and wouldn't be attached to an equalizer tassel, which means we can sometimes miss them. And if we miss them and don't get them tied back into the equalizer tassel, they'll actually tend to get sucked up and jammed up in the headrail, in which case we'll need to locate those. And so what we would need to do is examine the cord tensioner to determine if all of the cords that should be in the cord tensioner are locked into the cord tensioner. And if we're missing 1 or 2, we can usually assume that it's actually up here in the headrail, at which point we would need to get a needle nose, a pair of pliers, or a screwdriver or something to be able to dislodge those from just up inside here. You should be able to see it, at which point we'll get a needle nose, pull it back through, and then you're going to open the cord tensioner, place the cord into the open slot, and then you're just going to clip the cord tensioner, back together like so. And that's going to prevent that cord from getting locked up in the headrail and keeping the shade from lowering.